My next guest is a Microsoft MVP from Illinois in the US. He's an experienced D365 and Power Platform evangelist. He has over 13 years of experience in business process consulting and improvement, engineering, integration, and automation. He studied an engineering degree, industrial engineering, and also done his master's in IT. He's famous for his 120 episodes in his Tech Talk 365 series on YouTube with over 16,000 subscribers. Please welcome Mohammad Yasar.
A wonderful brief conversation before we started a recording. I really loved it. I really liked your energy. And it doesn't seem like I'm talking to you for the first time. I feel like I know you from a very long time. So very, very nice to catch up with you.
From childhood, I think. So actually, the reason why I think thank you very much. I think I know you is because my partner says that you're famous, and I thought I was famous in her life, and she goes, no, he's famous. So 19,000 subscribers. Obviously, very excited about that in your YouTube channel.
Yeah, very, very excited about it. When I started it, my end goal or my ultimate mission was to reach 3,000 subscribers and I'm done. I'm retired. That's the end goal. And I never expected 19,000. I'm very excited about it.
Does your family treat you any differently because you are so special now?
They don't even care about me. They just feel that I'm wasting my time with the camera and laptop.
Do they say, "Show me the money"? Like, put some coin on the table, make it happen.
Yeah, they're just wondering I'm doing something, but they're clueless. Yeah.
And when you go overseas, I know we were just talking about the summit. What happens to you because you've got Tech Talk 365? I've seen you chat and chat and chat. You know so many things. What happens to you when you go overseas? Do people ask you tough questions and say, "Solve it for me now"?
More than that, the one thing which I started to get used to is the people commenting on the video, right? The crazy thing is at 3 minutes 40 seconds, you were mentioning about something and how does that work? At 4, like people are thinking that I literally memorized all my 120 videos. I'm having all that in my head.
Yeah, yes.
And you ask a question, you have an answer for that, but that's not the reality. But yeah, but over the time, I learned how to handle all that. Yeah.
Mohammed, I know that you're an engineer background. I presume you could even have been a doctor. Do people try to get free work done off you? Like if you were a doctor, they would say, "I have this injury right here. Can you have a look at it?" Do you
Yeah.
have that?
Yeah. Almost like that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, tell us then about your childhood. The reason for this video was to share with other D365 professionals. How does one go from where they are right now to becoming an MVP, the habits that you created? And for that, I look back way back to your childhood. And I imagine something like you tripped over on the road and your parents told you, go to the doctor and get it fixed. And you walked by yourself to the doctor. Typically, something like that happens. And then you
Yeah.
build up this character, right? Tell
Yeah.
me about your childhood and what shaped you.
Yeah, I briefly saw the video from Ramit, right? And Richard as well. And you asked the similar question. And yeah, same, almost similar background to all those Indian MVPs you have interviewed so far in the past. From a very humble background and first generation degree holders, so we know the importance of a engineering degree. So to make your parents happy, the parents do say that you pursue your passion, you do whatever you want to do, but make sure you just finish your engineering. That's like the basic for you, right?
Yeah. It's
So to
breathing.
just make them happy, I did this engineering degree and then they wanted me to do another degree just to please them. I did my master's as well. And then I realized that this combination, the rare combination of IT and industrial engineering, one is from information technology background, and other is from the mechanical engineering background, right? So then a lot of people mentored me and they advised me that I will be a very good element for consulting. Like I have this industry knowledge backed up with the IT knowledge, right? So then I started my consulting career from there. So it was more of like, it just happened. that it happens organically in India that you finish your engineering and then do everything else later.
Failure is not an option for you with Indian parents.
Yeah.
When you look at a problem with your engineering mind,
Mm.
do you, for example, I look at a problem and I immediately try to cut out the things that are irrelevant in the problem. So I say it's cutting a sausage in half. And by
Yeah.
doing that, I only then have 50%, and then I cut that in half and I have 25%. And eventually
Okay.
I have a very thin slice, which is the first thing I need to tackle. How do
Mm.
you handle problem solving?
Okay. I wish I could handle that like that. I'm working on that. Right now, my problem solving abilities are I complicate it, blow
What?
it out of proportion. Yeah. So that's how I solve it.
Okay, and then how does that lead to you finding that aha moment that this is the cause?
Yeah. No, no, I keep working on the problem and I think in a multiple angles and then I formulate and then it clicks in
Okay.
couple of hours that okay, that should be the angle I should catch and latch up to, right? But I've seen that I have this a tendency to complicate things more than it needed.
Have you heard
Yeah.
of Johnny Ives from Apple?
Yeah, I've heard of him. Yes.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's an industrial engineer as well, and all of the products that we see that are beautiful, well designed, come from his hand. And I
Mm.
didn't know if that was the sort of things you did during your industrial engineering degree.
Yeah, the industrial engineering degree is all about the optimizing stuff, the theory of optimization, removing the bottlenecks and things like that. Yeah, I wanted to pursue this mechanical engineering direction and work on an industry, but then it did take a different path that when you finish your engineering degree, the job comes along with it. So
True.
the initial job is with a company named Cognizant Technologies. It's
Yeah, I saw your
a
post about that. You're meeting them again for the first time after like years.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, like, I'm very thankful, and even though we keep changing companies, but that's where I'm from, right? So, once a cognizant, always a cognizant. So, a lot of values and a lot of mentoring, coaching, everything did come from cognizant, and that's what is leading me to make all this impact that I'm able to make in the current employer's life. So, I'm always thankful to them. That's where I started my journey and my AX 2012 journey as well from Cognizant's Microsoft practice. I was part of it. I was pushed into a project. And in Malaysia, that's where I started my career with Microsoft in 2011. And that's when I even landed to Brisbane, like for a brief amount of time for one of the Caterpillar dealership related projects.
Ah,
Like it
yeah, I
was
saw that.
yeah, it's one of the largest AX implementation during that time in the Southeast Asia or in APAC. So everything I learned is hands-on. I learned from there. So many things I've learned, like small things that I talk to people today. They say that, oh wow, is that a feature? But for me, that's very normal thing. That's because those things I learned after doing a lot of or running test cases, we call it, right? Like that's a part of our work, like more than 1,500 test cases that we need to run, all the positive negative scenarios, keep on repeatedly doing again and again and again. So you get used to the system so much that you uncover a lot of unexposed areas and features in the system.
Yeah, I can tell a
Yeah.
professional at testing when they do negative testing. Most people
Yeah.
prefer just to do positive testing. It fits within their idea of the world. But when you're trying to find things that break the opposite way, it does require a great mindset. I'd
Yeah.
actually like to go back to your childhood again. Were the people that actually shaped you? I know you talked about your parents and the expectations, which is a great thing to have a bar set high, a
Mhm.
degree and a master's. But what happened maybe with your siblings or during your younger years? Were you
Mhm.
a troublemaker, the naughty kid in the classroom? Were you the cheeky one that had a sharp mind and could make jokes about your uncles and aunties?
Okay. Cheeky one, making jokes, little humor aside, not too studious,
Yeah.
backbencher, I should say. And it's a kind of a mix between reserved kid and a naughty kid. I need time to open up. I need closed circle to open up, very selective circle of friends. And what really helped me or shaped me is the background of my father is from Indian army. So
Hmm.
we used to get like we do not stay at one place. Like the nature of the job demands him to keep traveling within India every 1 year. So you never settle down in one school. Always wherever you go, you are a newcomer, you newbie, right? You're treated
Hmm.
like a
Hmm.
newbie. So it's challenging, very challenging to get adapted. So when I travel to a different country, I do not feel any different, because when I travel within India to a different state, it is equally alien, like different
Hmm.
language, different culture. So yeah, I'm very much used to the change and things like that. So that actually shaped me, helped me to adapt.
So when you go to a new school, did they bully you or did they
Yeah.
welcome you? And they bullied you.
No. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they do
Okay.
bully, and there is a concept of this ragging when you are
Yeah.
like first into school, you are seniors, you always bullied kids, and then they try to adapt, take you as a part of their clan. By the time you're settled down, you it's time for you to move again. So that keeps happening all the time during your school days. And the only period where I've studied in the same university campus for 4 years is during my degree, engineering degree. Other than that, I never stayed in one place for like longer time.
Got you. Was there anything special where you're good on the sports ground or like with cricket or anything like that that made you accepted into in the school?
Yeah, like if you are from a specific geography from India, or even Australians do like cricket, right? So yeah, it is only one cricket, one sport, which is cricket. That's all we watch in India. It's like religion. So that actually unites everybody. That's where we unite, right? So yeah, it's more of
I,
on the sports like cricket. I don't play, but I watch.
okay, okay. I thought you were
Yeah.
going to give me a high score or something, but you watch, and I know
No.
what you mean. You can be friends over that. Okay, so then you finished off school, you went to university, and then what were the steps that led you to get to Illinois?
Okay, so then as I said, I was in Cognizant, and then I moved to certain projects which are all specialized in equipment industry, equipment and automotive related projects. I specialize in that specific stream of heavy equipments, and I would
Mm,
like to stay within that area, even though it has its own advantages and disadvantages. I'm passionate about those business areas. So that actually led me towards my current employer, which is Anada. So I'll talk about Anada, but in Anada we do focus on heavy equipment side of things, and I started pursuing my journey with Anada in Malaysia, and from there I did an intercompany transfer to US recently, like 10 months back.
hmm.
I'm very new here. Culturally, I'm still trying to adapt, but things are good. Yeah.
Americans think big. How do you find what is the differences? For example, when you go into the room, can you tell that you're a newbie? And what do you have to change?
Yeah, like my job role is pre-sale. So the basic changes I might need to do, or I realized in this 10 months, is the way I demo stuff in ANZ, in APAC in general, and way how I demo the same stuff in US. I might need to change a bit on my script. So in the US, what I noticed is the business users would like to go for a little more tailor-made version of a demo script, meaning the exactly, okay, do not talk about the features, navigations, vanilla, Dynamics 365, I do not care about it. I do not want to know about 10 different features that you offer. I only want to know about that two features that's going to change my life, right? So it's more of a discovery here. So I have understood the importance of discovery here, which is more important in America than compared to where I'm coming from.
Okay, so to dig in on discovery, are you saying that prior to arriving at the client's site, you had 10, then you had to discover in your mind what their requirements may be and filter it down to two? Or is the discovery meeting where you do the filtering from 10 down to two?
Okay, so when you say let's say it's an equipment and automotive customer, you already know what they want. You
Okay,
exactly know.
you
You are a
should know
bit
what they
overconfident.
want. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you are an expert in that domain, and you exactly know what they want to solve the problem, right? But you have 15 different things in your mind which you feel that they want it, right? But out of that 15, there are around 7 things they really want. But the other things are good to have, but they wanted to only see that 7 thing. So before I go on to the on-site, Previously in Australia, I used to just go with all the 15 things and show everything. And these customers would like to do the gap fit on their mind themselves. But here, I might need to do a series of discovery before I show up for a demo by this kind of
Yes.
conversation,
Ah, right,
and
right.
then do analysis, exactly go with the right script for them. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. So I do that in my phone calls to the person who's organizing me.
Mm,
You're going backwards and forwards, and you try to inquire who are the people in the meeting and what are their specific needs are. I get it.
yeah.
And then
Yeah,
they want to
exactly.
see their name and their scenarios in there. For example, if they're in 5 different countries, they want you to know those 5 countries beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. And they want to exactly know how do they exactly do, like say, for example, procurement in a specific way. It's unique to their business, right? So to that level of details, you go prepared and show them, they are very impressed. You do not need to show them 10 features. It's also easier for you. You just need to spend 30 minutes to impress them and hit the nail right, and you're good.
What was the shortest time that you went from zero to hero in number of minutes? Is it like,
Okay, it's too early for me because it's just been 10 months, and you know that in our industry, the sales cycles are a bit longer. So before I even try to taste a win in this region, a success, it might take a few more months. But to impress them, to make them feel that I'm definitely an expert, it took around 2 hours. That's the quickest demo that I
nice?
can think of. Yeah.
One of the biggest complaints from functional people is after you've done your pre-sales and you're rah rah rah, you're the legend, you've promised so many things, the functional people have to deliver on it.
Exactly.
How do you avoid that challenge? Because I know you came from that background, but how do you avoid promising things that they can't deliver?
So yeah, I am a delivery consultant. I transitioned into a pre-sale consultant, but right now I'm playing a role of a seller. So like when I'm playing a role of a delivery agent, I might not promise certain things, but you're more tempted to promise such things, even though you yourself in your mind know that those are a bit difficult while you are playing a role of a pre-sale consultant, right? But it do happens. And as a best practice, what do we do in our company is whenever we are going for a pre-sale engagement, when we are done with the first 2 layers of demos and we are very sure that the customers are confident, we started engaging the delivery consultant as well as a part
Right.
of like a solution architect from the delivery side as a part of your all of your conversation. So they exactly know what is going on, so the handoff between the pre-sale and delivery happens with no surprises, right? So that is something we follow as a best practice here.
Great idea. I like that integration bit right towards the end.
Yeah.
So then you're now in a Now tab, but you've got 120 or so episodes in your Tech Talk 365 series on YouTube,
Mhm.
16,000 subscribers. Before that first episode, what were you feeling and thinking that made you
Mm.
say, I think this will solve the problem? What happened?
So what happened is just a kind of a spark. Like in 2019, when COVID happened, we had a lot of time to think about ourselves, about so many other aspects of life, right? So I realized that we do so many things. We do learn a lot of things in finance and operations, but I always felt like there were not enough resources out there, even though the Microsoft Learn everything is doing great now and improving a lot on that area. But I still feel that on the functional angle for finance and operations, there are not too many resources out there. There are, but majority of them are text-based resources. They are blog posts, which
True.
people do write from 2012, but not a video-based content. But there were a couple of video-based contents like Organic AX those days, which really helped me to understand AX 2012 better. And it really changed my life a lot. Those Organic AX, that's called as the site name, and the blogs and the videos are in Vimeo platform.
Hmm.
I learned a lot from them. So I always wondered somebody need to come in or like take a role, like because the Organic AX blogs, they started blogging after AX7. There's
Mm.
no more videos after AX7. Unfortunately, looks like the author changed the role within Microsoft and they stopped doing the video. So I was wondering, why is nobody, taking it? There's a big gap, right? So then later on, I realized that maybe I should do it. So I initially started that, like, I should start some kind of a course as an instructor, maybe try to involve a lot of participant and in a classroom start doing trainings. But then I realized that it is only a closed room and only so many people can get benefited out of it. And
Yes.
moreover, our role involves a lot of traveling and we cannot commit 2 straight days for a specific number of audience who expects something from you and you cannot deliver it on time, right? So I then thought of, I came across few things like, you must be knowing about NZ guy, Mark Smith,
Yes. Yes.
90-day
Yeah.
challenge and all that program. He's doing all great
Yeah.
stuff. So during that conversation, he was talking about, I would also like to talk about this. It's also benefit to the audience who are watching this video. It's called as personal branding. So he started to educate me and coach me about the importance of personal branding and how it can be my digital resume and how it can totally change my life, right? Instead of you seeking for opportunity, your LinkedIn profile will pretty much become like a lead magnet, which will start attracting people. It's because of not you, but your brand that you're positioning, right? So combining that idea and my eagerness to teach Microsoft Dynamics, I came out that, okay, I should start my YouTube channel. But creating a YouTube channel itself is just a 10 minutes process. All you need is a logo and the banner. So I do not want to jump in straight away into a YouTube channel. I
Mm.
want to prepare. So what I did is I started assuming that I
Oh,
have
sorry.
around,
Can I
yeah,
interrupt you? This is your
yeah.
problem again, where you overcomplicate things. You found a simple way to get in, and you went, "No, let me stop. Let's make, something huge. A building. Let me build a building first."
Exactly. That is where I went wrong. And that
Okay.
is where anybody who would like to start their YouTube journey should not go wrong there, because you cannot keep waiting for your product to become perfect. I think you should release the first cut of it and then eventually improve it, right? But
Well done.
again, I complicated it. I wanted my product to be fully finished. So I started talking to the wall with a camera in my laptop, assuming that I have thousand of them watching me. I did like 50 videos before I started my YouTube channel, and I
Wow.
uploaded everything all together in one shot.
Wow. No, let
Yeah.
me compliment you on that. One of the things that I admire in you is that it's easy for anyone to do the first draft and throw it out and iterate, as you say. But I do
Mm,
admire your sense of professionalism. In fact, if I look back at your resume and the way
mm,
you've held yourself in all of your work patterns, yeah, you've
mm,
tried to do the steady, methodical, systematic approach to things. And therefore, I would trust the solution you build compared to
mm,
someone who's like zigzagging, I guess, with a problem. I'm not sure what I'm going to get. You give me this safe and sure hands approach. Is that
mm.
what you're trying to do with your personal brand?
Yeah, plan it, and you have a vision about your brand. The brand should go this, 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 and it will achieve this, and then maybe the brand can convert it into a website or something. So the brand name needs to be in a generic format and all that. Like, you already plan all that, overcomplicated. And yes, you're right, but that also helps in a long run.
That's true.
Uh,
So with personal branding, when you are actually in a room, just say you went for a job interview,
mm,
I'm assuming you'd be in the top three easily, right? For the
yeah.
interview. So why is it that everyone else who may be going against you in that job interview, why are they casual about their brand? What is it that makes you want to do it and them not want to do it?
Okay. As you mentioned, building a personal brand is very simple. It's you have your own ways to do. You don't necessarily need to do a in the camera. If you're a camera shy, you can still do writing, right? It's easy thing. But why do certain people do it and why do certain people do not do it, right? That's a question.
Mm,
So the key thing is the consistency.
mm,
The consistency is the key. The people get motivated and they start writing it. They start writing twice and then just they forget about it and they continue with their life. They're not too serious about it, but maybe life keeps them busy or whatever. But if you're very serious about it, you're very consistent about it. That's the key here. I'm
Mm-mm.
sure it will become a very successful brand. But again, the quality also matters, the quality of the content you create.
I see what you're saying. What I do when I'm hiring people, so my background is software development and functional and project management, and so
Mhm,
when I'm hiring a team, I have
mm,
filters. So say I get 100 people for a job, maybe
mm,
150 job ad.
mm,
The first thing I have to do is I say to my assistant, cut
mm,
out 50%, and let's pick an attribute, and it may be, are they certified? I
mm,
don't even look at the resume. It's not possible to read each resume. I have to pick something. Bang, 50%
mm.
go. That's the
Yeah,
sausage I cut, right? And then I take the
yeah.
last 50% and I cut that in half again. I go, get rid of anyone who hasn't got a degree. I have
Mm,
no personal acrimony against any individual. I just need to
mm,
get down to, say, 15, 20, where I'm going to read. And then I
yeah.
get and I start reading. If I saw a person who had a personal brand, like you said, the LinkedIn resume, they
Mm,
would go on the shortlist pile. And if
mm,
they just went to work 9 to 5 and went home, I have nothing personal against it. It's just I need to find the right person. And so I
yeah.
take the people who appear to put in that little bit of extra, they're learning, they're committing to the community, and they go into my shortlist. And then
Mm,
eventually from that, I only can pick three for the interviews. And
mm,
then from that interview, only one gets through. So I can see from this filtering process, people who have less or no brand don't
mm,
get picked as much, and people
yeah.
who have a brand tend to go to the top of that pile often. Is this your experience when you're going for jobs, or did you know of people who are going for jobs?
Okay, I never tried for the job in the recent past, but yes, you're right. If I am screening somebody for my company or in general, I definitely go for the titles like some kind of certifications, not the regular certifications, maybe Microsoft trainer or Microsoft MVP or a fast track certified person. So, or these are the things which is like make you stand out apart from your personal branding as well. So if these are the cream layer for me, you're right.
Okay, I was going to ask you, that's a powerful aspect. I was speaking with Elif Item yesterday,
Yeah.
and she said, as I agree, that the choice of my partner has massively impacted where I am in life because
Mhm,
they're watching me and they're saying, could you consider this? Could you try that?
mhm,
Would you see something going wrong? If they see something going wrong, they tell you. Your thoughts on picking a partner is
mhm.
also one of the secret to your success.
Okay, partner meaning you're referring to
Your life partner, your
life
girlfriend.
partner, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm technical. I'm thinking in like some angle of Microsoft partner. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Anata.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, your partner definitely certainly needs to be understanding and motivating as well because you're definitely going to consume a lot of your weekends. You're not doing all this during your weekdays because you're busy with your work. So they might need to sacrifice and let you to do your stuff during weekends. Saturdays and Sundays is when I do majority of my recordings. So they're very understanding, very kind, and they do see some kind of value, even though they don't understand what I'm really doing. But they see that okay, couple of people are liking a video, and this guy is really impacting. So they let me do what I do. So I'm very thankful to them. You're right.
Yeah, my partner actually sees that I'm happy, and she says because that's making you happy, I think that's good for you. Clearly,
Yeah,
if you went in and made your videos on Saturday and Sunday and came out grumpy, then maybe
yeah.
it's not a good thing for the family, right?
Correct, correct. And like my daughter, she's only like 6 to 7 years old. She keeps asking me, Daddy, when are you going to get the silver play button? So those kind of
Wow,
questions
she
also
knows about
motivate
it.
me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She always like these days, kids are completely into YouTube, right?
Yes. And are you inspiring them in any way to go into D365?
She's too small for that, but yeah, if she is, yeah, if she's interested, definitely I'll push her towards low code, no code, and these days, of course, AI is going to rule the world, right? So yeah.
Have you found, for example, your move to cover the Power Platform? Tell me about your thoughts about applications that you build across both D365 as the foundation, and then you layer some missing aspect, which is a Power App. How does that work for you, and where do you see that going?
Okay, so like for in my case, right, let me give you an example of my employer, with Anata. We are, of course, globalized piece of Microsoft. We always build our products on top of Microsoft ecosystem, right? So currently, where we are heading towards is, you're right, more and more towards the model driven and the power platform angle, right? So these days, all the products that we build, or even that is a Microsoft direction, which is, we call it as one platform, right?
Mm,
So where the FNO just is a back office engine, where still everything important sits, and it will still do what is really that is good at doing, which is finance and transactions, right? But all those touch points, the business users, interaction, everything these days actually happen in the front office systems, in the model driven power apps, and the extensions that are built on CRM and field service applications.
hmm
And they are dual rated back to the finance and operations applications. So this is something which I also need to get adapted to and transform accordingly. Start training and coaching myself on Dataverse, virtual entities, dual rights, and how do we build at least simple applications to start with, so on and so. So that is my starting point, and I'm already starting to get in top of all that as well.
Yeah, I would think that'll become a filter for me as well. Again, when I'm hiring someone, I can imagine, though I may
Yeah.
not be using Power Platform every moment of the day, I would
Mm.
hire people who have that as an extra arrow in their
Yeah.
sling, because I know that it's coming. You were mentioning about Power Platform being the front end for many features. You have D365 in the middle. I love the integration of bouncing outside of D365, connecting to other things. So, for example, in Australian mining companies, they're highly automated and making their vehicles autonomous, right? And so that feedback's coming back to a system. Do you have people saying to you, I want to see it inside D365? Or is that outside?
Yeah. When we develop a solution, when we call it as a one platform, it is a one platform not just between the finance and operation versus the Microsoft ecosystem, but it is also outside Microsoft ecosystem, because we never get into a customer with a strategy of rip and replace. We would allow the customer to use and continue using what they are happy using, and we are
Yes.
only wanted to replace stuff which are problematic, and which they do not want to see, and which is not adding value to them, right? So I'm a strong advocate of coexistence, and Microsoft luckily is a wonderful platform, which
Mm,
I often call it as a Lego, which allows you to build anything on top of them. And there are like around 400 plus connectors which are out of the box, which enables you to connect. Even otherwise, the mic our own native within the finance and operations, things like business events catalog, and things like power automate, etc., lets you to communicate or send things based on certain business events to the outside systems. We leverage all of that as a package, and we do have a lot of scenarios where the SAP or Fusion being one of the system, and we are like following this master slave model where Dynamics 365 is covering the operational element of it, whereas the financials are still sitting on SAP, because the head office would like to be reported, in the SAP, right? So it's a very common scenarios. We do definitely coexist with other technologies as well.
yes. I see that's actually a marker of someone who's had battles before. You can actually tell you stories about what things worked and what didn't. What
Yeah.
advice would you give for an up and coming FNO specialist? What would you say they should be learning and doing to get into a position like where you are, for example, as a pre-sales?
The FNO, the challenge with finance and operation in general is there are so many things to learn, right? So firstly, be clear whether you want to become you want to pursue the finance pathway, or whether you want to pursue the supply chain pathway, right?
Hmm.
It's like two circles, but they intersect. So if you wanted to pursue the finance pathway and you're really new, start with the business processes, try to understand the concept of ledger, the credits and debits and how things work. And if your background is finance, your degree is from finance, accounting, commerce, you already have that, which is you have that advantage, right? Likewise, you have a supply chain degree, you already have an advantage, so you know where to go. So then start focusing on that area and start learning. Once you are 80% confident about that area, don't stop there. Start focusing on the other half of the circle as well.
Yes,
Because if you only focus on one half, you always feel that you're new and you're something is missing. It's only
true.
half covered. So, so go to the other area as well. As a whole, it's called as finance and supply chain management. Try to understand the whole product. Once you're very confident about the core supply chain and finance aspect, then expand your knowledge towards advanced warehouse management if you're a supply chain consultant, and then expand your knowledge towards projects and accounting if you are a finance consultant. That will make you a senior consultant, right? Once you are done, then do not stop. Start exploring the ecosystem on the whole. That will make you a solution architect.
You know,
So
Mohammed, whilst you were talking about that, you make great sense. My friend
mm,
Mike Pearsall would be crying right now because he actually says, but they keep forgetting about the HR module and they forget about commerce. He goes, why do these people don't remember these
yeah,
other bits that you get included in the package?
exactly. I do not know. It's a different product. So yeah, you're right. But yeah, it's a part of we
It's
always
part of
often
them.
forget it. Yeah.
But I agree that whenever I met a supply chain person, if they have the finance first step, they
Mm,
are more helpful and more able to get the system working quickly because they
yeah.
understand that everything has to flow back eventually into the finance anyway.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's very tough for somebody like me who's from a non-finance background to catch up with these concepts, but it's very important. Really helps a lot.
Would you have you done any accounting background to learn about finance, or were you always in supply chain?
No, no, it is a full core supply chain, but yeah, we will have this optional papers on finance. But yeah, I learned everything on the job.
Part of setting up a new business is to imagine your mission in the world. Though you're not a business, you're a personal brand. When you get old, what is the thing that you would like to have left for the world? What is the purpose of your life?
Okay, that's a very deep question.
We can
Uh,
take a moment if you like.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, like I'm
It can change
like
as well. I mean, just today,
yeah,
how do you feel? Yeah.
there is nothing that I'm planned. I just take the life as it comes. But in a long run, I do understood so far is like um, I was always been having this employee mindset all the while. Maybe I should start thinking about this entrepreneurial way of thinking, startup, and bring some change. So at this moment, I'm trying to bring some change within the community with my knowledge. I'll continue doing it, but in the long run, definitely I would try to convert this personal brand in something more serious.
I've got an idea for you. One of the things I do inside a company, I've been a contractor for a long time, but I was also an employee at certain stages, is a thing, called entrepreneur. And where you're within a company and you're forced to create a product that has a need. So you have to survey your market to know your customer.
Uh-huh.
And then you're doing the whole process as if you're an entrepreneur, but you're doing it for a product that maybe, for example, Anata could sell. And you're
Mm.
branding it and you're creating its mission, its goals, you're trying to define what its purpose is, and then you're trying to get money from the company in order
Okay,
to launch that. And of course, there'll be backers, there'll be naysayers, people who don't believe in you. And in a way, it's all a huge game, but you're
yeah,
learning how to be an entrepreneur using the company's money. They get a product,
exactly.
they get something of value, but it's
Yeah,
a testing ground. It'll be interesting to see
exactly.
what your first product would be and to see what you call it.
Definitely, it's a very good idea. And moreover, certain employers, like my employer, would also encourage you, also need the support of your employer to accept your employee doing all that, right? All the extracurricular activity. They should see it as part of the company's journey. They should not see it as you're getting distracted, right?
That's true.
Um, yeah, I'm good that I have that freedom. So definitely, that's something, a good idea. I will
Good.
definitely try that. Yeah.
Well, Mohammed, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I've learned a lot. I loved your structured approach. What would you say your superpower is? The thing that made you different?
Superpower. Okay. I'm not intelligent, so I realized it. So only
Okay.
thing to look like intelligent guy, to pretend like an intelligent guy is just the hard work. So an intelligent guy might need just 10 minutes to do certain thing, but you might need a 2 hours of homework to do the same thing. But that hard work is something which actually makes me different.
I don't want to undersell you, but in a way that reminds me of how McDonald's, like if you go to McDonald's, their burgers aren't the best burgers in the world. Their service is spectacular in that it's consistent. I can go obviously to any McDonald's, the menu, the way they order, the way it's delivered and well, cooked and delivered is so
Yeah.
consistent that I appreciate. And I'm driving down the highway here, going from place to place. I pull
Mm.
into McDonald's because it's just so easy and I know what I'm going to get. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what you're saying your superpower is, the fact that you're consistent in how you tackle every problem, right? Even if you overcomplicate it, you're consistently
Yeah.
overcomplicating it. So I know
Yeah.
what I get with you.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
agree.
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you very much. I really appreciate taking your time. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Have a great
yeah.
evening, Mohammed.
Bye.
Done. Bye.
Mobiz is a community-run organization. We believe in liberating people from the shackles of monotony, inspiring them to dream bigger and reach higher. We empower them to focus on the things that matter, growing their skills, solving new problems, and helping others on a global scale.
We eliminate manual work that stands between people and their future, preventing them from learning new technologies, unleashing their talents, and leaving a legacy that has a lasting impact.
Freedom doesn't wait. Join us at mobiz.com.